You're listening to a New York Jets episode of the Jacob Valk Show. He's breaking down the team's latest goings-on as only he can. Follow him on Twitter at RealJacobValk. Here he is, Jacob Valk.
Hello, Jets fans! Welcome to another New York Jets episode of the Jacob Valk Show. I am the Jacob Valk, except no imitation. Certainly not the most convincing win I've ever seen. Certainly not the best quarterback performance I've ever seen. But at the end of the day, the Jets went into Houston on the road, certainly not a friendly environment, and they got the win. It doesn't matter how you win, it just matters if you win. And I feel like you saw some real positives there. For the first time in Zach Wilson's career, the Jets led after the first quarter in a game that he started. You may not think that's a big deal, but once you turn over that field, it's a lot better to be ahead than behind. A lot easier to play from ahead than to try to come back from a deficit. And sure, the Jets squandered that lead. They were down 14-3 at one point, but then they came back. They scored the last 18 points. Like, give Wilson credit. Did he make some bad decisions? Absolutely. I understand you're trying to just shuffle the ball forward to try to make something happen, but Zach, my God. Ty Johnson wasn't even looking at you. You've got to know when to just bite the bullet. Hold the football. And there were some other throws that he made that the Texans had an opportunity to pick the ball off, and they didn't. Obviously, the fumble, where Jonathan Greenard could have just fell on it. Instead, he tried to scoop and score. It didn't work. The ball went out of bounds. Did Wilson have moments where he looked like a rookie? Yes. If the Jets were playing a competent football team, would they have won this game? Probably not. But Wilson was able to put it together in the second half a little bit. He did get some nice throws to Elijah Moore. He had a touchdown that Ryan Griffin dropped. I mean, it's a tough catch. It really is, but at the end of the day, you're an NFL tight end. You've got a chance to make a touchdown catch. You've got to catch it. Shades of Jackie Smith. But Wilson did get his first ever rushing touchdown. And here's the most important thing. He got the win. Again, it wasn't the best performance I've ever seen. You want to tell me that the Jets offense looked better under Flacco? And it looked better under White, excluding the Bills game? It looked better under Johnson? You can make that argument. But again, Zach Wilson is the future of this team. The season's lost anyway. If the Jets were in the playoff hunt, okay, I'd understand getting a little upset. But the Jets are 3-8. All right, let Wilson take his lumps. Let him win ugly football games. And take it for what it is. All right, neither team was great in this game. If the Jets were playing a competent football team, they lose. If the Texans were playing a competent football team, they lose by 30. But this was a game that the Jets should have won. And they did. Robert Saleh gets his first ever road win. Instead of the headlines being how bad Wilson was, the headlines are the Jets won an ugly game. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how you win, just matters if you win. And the Jets won. So I'm happy. The one thing that I'm not crazy about is it seems like the Jets really do a lot better when Wilson's taking a back seat. Whether he's not playing or whether he's handing the ball off to a guy like Tevin Coleman or Ty Johnson or even Austin Walter. Who would ever heard of Austin Walter? You know, I want to see Wilson be better than those guys. I want to see Zach Wilson be the seminal reason that the Jets win. Can the defense help? Absolutely. I mean, this was a great game for the Jets defense. It honestly may be the best game they've played all season. You want to tell me it's coming against the Texans? You're right. And I'm not saying that the Jets defense is great, believe me. Alright, Jason Pinnock had a moment where he could have stopped Brevin Jordan from catching that touchdown, and he didn't. I mean, I'm done with Pinnock. I'd cut him tonight. I didn't want to see him out there at all after the stunt he pulled last week. I was really upset to see him in there. But after the Jordan touchdown, he wasn't awful. I mean, what were the other points that the Texans scored? A great throw by Tyrod Taylor to Brandon Cooks. Nothing more that Bryce Hall could have done. Look, the Jets don't have a good defense. There's no question about that. But you know what? They were able to pick on a bad Texans team. And when you have two bad teams going at it, your fan base will be livid if you lose. Every Texans fan on earth thought that the Texans would win this game. Every Jets fan on earth thought that the Jets would win this game. I picked the Jets in my offline pool. You know what? They found a way to win. The defensive line was excellent. John Franklin Myers looked like a man possessed. Had 2 sacks and an interception. Quinnen Williams looked really good. Ronald Blair had a sack. The D-line was excellent. The linebackers were really good. Quincy Williams looks like a real keeper. CJ Mosley had a really good game. Give the Jets defense a ton of credit. Like, going into this game, I really wasn't worried about the Jets offense. They've been clicking recently. Elijah Moore really seems to be hitting his stride. You've got Zach Wilson coming back. Even though they were without Michael Carter, and Corey Davis, I really had a sense that the Jets' offense would be all right. And you know what? In the second half, they were. I mean, this is an issue with Zach Wilson. He doesn't play well in the first half, then the second half, watch him go. At the end of the day, it doesn't work like that. It's very tough to win like that. You can't throw away an entire half of football and then say, you know what, we're just going to come back in the second half. You know what the biggest moment of that game was? I'll tell you. It was the Austin Walter touchdown. And that whole drive. That 11-play drive that took over 5 minutes, started at the Jets' 30. It was methodical. Wilson made a few really nice passes. Then Austin Walter pushed them over the edge by getting the last 16 yards. Then Robert Saleh goes for 2 to make it a 3-point game instead of a 4-point game. It's the right decision. I see Josh Johnson in at quarterback and Zach Wilson split out wide. It's like, oh boy, what's this? What's going to happen here? This doesn't look pretty. Then Johnson makes it work. I mean, outstanding job by him. Mike LaFleur is really coming into his own as a play caller. Is it crazy to say that he could get some head coaching buzz? I'm not saying he deserves a job, but would it stun you if he got an interview? Wouldn't knock my socks off. That made the score 14-11, so you're within a field goal. Headed into the locker room. You gotta feel good about your chances. You're getting the ball to start the half. Then you go on a methodical 14-play drive that takes almost half the quarter. You take the lead. You go on another big drive that should have resulted in points. But Matt Amendola missed a 42-yard field goal. Alex Kessman, you can't be elevated soon enough. I mean, give the Jets credit for 2 things. Their aggressiveness and their ability to make the Texans pay for their mistakes. To go for 2 rather than kick a field goal. On the drive that made it 21-14 to go for it on 4th down twice and make it. I mean, that's incredible. I understand you're 2-8, devil may care, go all out, damn the torpedoes, go full speed ahead, go all out, totally get that. But to convert twice? It's very easy to go for it on 4th down. Any head coach can say, no, offense, stay out there. Kicking unit, punting unit, you're staying back. But to convert? That's a lot harder. Outstanding job by the Jets offense. I saw people getting on Robert Saleh for calling the timeout and then deciding to go for it on 4th and 1. That didn't bother me in the slightest, and I'm going to tell you why. There's logic to not letting the defense see what package you're going to put out there offensively. So by sending out the kicking unit first, then pulling them back, and putting out the personnel that needed to be out there for Elijah Moore to convert on the jet sweep, you disguised what formation you were going to have out there. You kind of put the Texans on the defensive a little bit. You want to tell me that David Culley could have called a timeout there? No, he couldn't. He was saving his timeouts. Realize the situation. Ball at the Texans 15. Under 5 minutes left. He's not going to burn a timeout. He has to get the defense right. Lovie Smith has to get the defense right. So the Jets disguised what they were going to do. No one saw the jet sweep coming. It worked. Outstanding job by Saleh. I had no problem with that. And you want to tell me that the only reason the Jets won was because of the Texans' mistakes? At the end of the day, part of what constitutes a winning football team is taking advantage of the other team's mistakes. What do we say about the Patriots? If you're going to beat them, you've got to play a perfect football game. You can't give them any free possessions. No stupid throws, no fumbles, no shanked punts, no missed field goals. There's nothing wrong with seizing upon your opponent's mistakes. If you want to tell me this wasn't a convincing win, that's fine. I get it. Zach Wilson only throws for 145 yards, throws a stupid interception, probably should have thrown more, didn't throw for a touchdown, and the Jets' offense as a whole only had 266 total yards. Not a very convincing win. I get that. I mean, at the end of the day, they only went 2 for 13 on third downs. You usually don't win that way. But they came through when they needed to. The defense looked really good. This was a game that the Jets should have won. I picked them to win. And they won. It doesn't matter how you win. It just matters if you win. You'll get another New York Jets show next week. Regular episodes of the Jacob Valk Show come your way every weekday afternoon. And let me just say this right now. You may be expecting me to talk about the New York Islanders in some way, shape, or form, whether it's their games getting called because of their COVID outbreak, their lousy play, or both. I'm going to save that for the New York Islanders show that I'm going to do tomorrow night. Had that planned for a while, so let me save it for that. It makes no sense to talk about the Islanders on the regular episode of the Jacob Valk Show when I was going to do a show about them anyway. There's a lot that I need to talk about tomorrow, not counting the Islanders. Believe me, there's a lot I'm going to say about them. You're just going to get it tomorrow night as opposed to tomorrow afternoon. Let me save the Islanders stuff for the New York Islanders show. Until next time, I'm Jacob Valk, and always remember, if you disagree with me, you're wrong.